So today I'm going to present you with a drill where the only equipment you need is a deck of cards and a training partner. Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to my channel, Fighting Words, the Martial Arts Library. Usually on this channel I review martial arts books, but I also talk about other martial arts related subjects, and that's going to be the subject today. So I call this the pick a card drill, and like I mentioned up front, all you really need is a deck of cards for it. I was working with a training partner and he had mentioned that, when it came time for sparring, he didn't really know what to do. He didn't really have a strategy. So in response to that, I came up with a way to sort of randomize techniques using a deck of cards. Now, I have to confess that the idea behind this has its roots in the Karl Gotch Bible, which is an exercise where you take a deck of cards and the cards determine what exercise you do and how many reps you do it for. So sort of stealing that idea, I decided to apply it to techniques. So you take the deck, you shuffle the deck, and then you and your partner each choose 3 cards at random. You look at your own cards, you don't let the other guy know what cards you have. So how does this determine what you do during sparring or rolling or randori? It's actually pretty simple. Before the drill really gets going, you create a list of different techniques, and then you create a list of the cards that will be related to those. Now, the way I typically do it is I will assign certain techniques for cards based on color and number. So instead of dividing up into 4 suites, I will be like, all red cards will be in one group, all the black cards will be in one group, and that includes the face cards of each group. What I do is I assign the more common techniques, or the techniques that we would want to work for, onto the even and odd numbered cards, because those are going to be the most populous cards. The cards that you are less likely to pick, I assign a least used technique on there, and finally I actually use the jokers in that as well. So for a grappling example, you might use, for instance, Jujigatame or armbar for all the red even cards, a kimura for all the red odd cards, rear naked choke for all the black even cards, a triangle choke for all the black odd cards, and for the royal cards, for the red ones, maybe choose a straight ankle lock if that's in play with your grappling. You can choose for the royal black cards, perhaps something like a toe hold. And then for the jokers, because your odds of pulling those are only 2 in 54. There's a better way to break that down. But you might assign something very unusual, like, for instance, the Peruvian necktie, which is definitely attainable, but also just isn't that common a card. And similarly, if you are looking for, different throws or takedowns for wrestling or judo practice, if you are using, for striking, I would sort of advise using combinations instead of individual techniques. I guess it depends on your format. If you're doing maybe point stop sparring, then maybe like round kick would be all the red even cards or something like that. But if you're doing something like kickboxing or boxing, then like jab cross hook would be all the red even cards, and cross hook cross might be all the red odd cards. So in this way, you can sort of randomize what technique you're doing. You can, at least initially, surprise your opponent because they don't know what you're going for. And This will be great for sort of helping people get more comfortable experimenting with different techniques or combinations. And it'll happen in a way that you can control it a little bit based on the techniques that you assign to each division, but it is random enough so that there's an element of unpredictability in it. As far as troubleshooting goes, what if I pick two cards that have the same technique associated with them? Well, you can go about this in two different ways. One is to just keep it, and now instead of doing 3 different options, now you got 2 different options. The other is to actually exchange it out until you get up to 3 separate techniques. Also in troubleshooting, what if I want to have a broader array of techniques? Well, expand it out more. So instead of simply being red cards and black cards, you can actually divide them by suite. So it would be, all the even-numbered spades, all the even-numbered hearts. I'm only providing like the basic template. You guys can just go nuts with whatever you decide, however you decide to, format this. Anyway, that's all I have for this week. I'll see you guys next week.